Good evening. Today we're going to talk about basic accounting. Most of the accountants forget the basic knowledge of accounting when they reach the higher stage like account officers, account managers. So the main purpose of this webinar is to brush up your basic knowledge. Today we are discussing about the basic of accounting. Why is the basics? In life you should not forget the basic if you want to success in your life. In any field you should not forget the basic. If you forget the basic, your growth will be reduced, otherwise your growth will not be happen. So in life your foundation should be very strong to become a successful. If your foundation is not strong, if you are building the strong building more strong building on the foundations, that building will be collapsed if the strong foundation is not so strong. So always your foundation and your basics should be very strong and you never forget. The most of the accountant, when I'm taking the interviews, I'm asking the questions: what is the sales entry, what is the purchase entry? I'm taking more than 1,000 accountant interviews till date. 90% they forget the basics: sales purchase entry, depreciation entry, cash withdrawal deposit entry. They are forget. They are saying, sir, please give me the computer, I will do the entry. But they forget the journal entry. They become a mechanical, because due to tally it's very easy. Even non-accountant background people can do the accounting once they understand what is the debit credits. So even accountant people's also applying the same mind. What we observe for accountant growth is the person who work in CA firms for more than 4 years, 5 years, his basic is very clear and his foundations also very strong. And those who are directly going for accountant post without working under the CA, their growth is limited because their knowledge also limited. I am taken 2 accountant interviews. One work with CA firm for more than 5 years and another directly join as a accountant. Now that accountant, those who are work in the CA, now she is in account manager post, and another accountant, those who are directly joined, she is still accountant. This is the difference, because your foundations and your fundamental is not clear if you are not work with the under the CAs. Very rare peoples, they update their knowledge even if they are not work under the CAs, but they have their own ability to learn the new things. It's very rare persons, those who are clear their basics. But what I suggest, if you work under the CA, you will get the more perfect accountants. You can reach account manager level. Today we'll going to discuss about the basic of the accounting. The accounting having total 3 type of golden rules. What it is, we'll discuss one by one. First is personal accounts, nominal account, and real accounts. These are the 3 basic fundamental golden rule of the accounting. What personal account it says? Personal account says debit the receiver and credit the giver. We always debit to whom we are giving, and we always credit from whom we are receiving. In our case, we are making the payment to the creditors, so we always debit to the creditors, and we always credit the debtors to from whom we are receiving the money. That what our basic personal accounts rule says. Next, nominal accounts. What it means nominal accounts? Nominal account, it says debit all expenses and losses and credit all income and gains. Whatever expenditures we are debiting, we should debit to the expenses. All losses should be debit. See, while doing our accounting, we are always debiting expenses and assets, and we are always crediting income and liabilities. One should understand very clearly. This is the nominal accounts. Now we go to the real accounts. What do you mean by real accounts? Real accounts rule says debit what comes in, credit what goes out. What comes in we should always debit means, for examples, if we withdraw cash from bank, cash comes in, so we debit the cash and credit to the bank. When cash goes out, debit to the bank and credit to the cash. This is the real accounting basic rules. In modern approach, the accounting concept some changes. What it changed? In case of assets, if we debit, the asset will be increased. If we credit, asset will be decreased. Same, expenses also same. If we debit, expenses increased. If we credit, expenses will be decreased. In other ways, capital accounts, if we debit, capital account reduced. If we credit, capital account increased. The same thing, loans and advances are revenue also. If we debit, it will going to reduced. If we credit, it going to increased. This is the modern approach one should understand while doing the basic accounting. Next, while doing accounting, we should focus the direct expenses, indirect expenses, direct income and indirect incomes. This is very logical. One should focus while doing the accounting. If you debit, if you grouping the debit direct expenses to indirect, indirect to direct, your GP/NP ratio will be showing wrong percentage. So one should take very careful while we grouping the direct and indirect. Direct expenses is the expenses which is having direct relevance with your main product, manufacturing or whatever you are purchasing, it is also having direct relations with that expenses. For example, if your salary and wages related to manufacturing departments, we have to group it as a direct expenses. Like transport expenses related to purchase, we have to give the group of direct expenses. What is the indirect expenses? Indirect expenses is almost administrative and selling expenses is treated as an indirect expenses. Indirect expenses, traveling expenses, conveyance expenses, interest, all these expenses are indirect expenses. Next हम लोग we are check what is the direct income. Direct income is the income which is having direct relevance with the main productions. Suppose if you are a manufacturing activities and if you are sold the scrap, then such income is treated as a direct income. Indirect income means if you having any other source of income other than the direct incomes. For examples, rent income, interest on FD, dividend on investments, all these are expenses are treated as all these incomes are treated as an indirect incomes. So one should make very careful while bifurcating the direct expenses, indirect expenses, direct income and indirect income. And next we go to what is the capital expenditures and what is the revenue expenditure. Most of the accountant not understand the basic difference between the what is the capital expenditures and what is the revenue expenditures. So one should very careful for making the bifurcation of capital expenditures and revenue expenditures. Capital expenditure is the expenditures which is having directly relevant with revenue generation activity of the main products and having life more than 1 year. जो भी expenses रहता है, for example, if you are a manufacturer, machinery is the capital expenditures and it's having life more than 1 year and also it's a revenue generation activity. Computers, software, all these are the capital expenditures. If you wrongly debited to profit and loss accounts, your profit will be going to reduced. One should very careful if you are going to loss The entrepreneur is thinking, my company is suffering losses, so I want to close business. Otherwise, he'll thinking negative. So account is having such a importance while making the bifurcations of capital and revenue. The same thing, if your capital expenditures, if you are debited to revenue accounts, that is the different issues. And if you revenue expenditure, if you debited to capital accounts, your profit will be increased. If you all revenue expenditure, if you capitalize, your profit will be increased. In that case, your owner will happy and he given your bonus and he is enjoyed. But one check, if it is checked, then there is no any profit. So one should make very proper bifurcations of what is the revenue expenditures and what is the capital expenditures. And next we go to ESI and PF of the employer and employee. Most of the accountants, they are not bifurcated the ESI, PF of employer contributions and employee contributions. They are not understand the what is the difference between employer contributions and employee contributions. Employer contribution is the contribution that is paid by the employer on behalf of employee. Employee contribution is the contribution which is collected from the employee and paid to the governments. So employer contributions is treated as an expenses, and administrative expenses related to that PF ESI expenses also treated as an expenses. And employee PF and ESIs, it is a duties and taxes, and it is a liability of the owner we have to pay to the government. So one should make the bifurcation properly. Employer contributions is the expenses and employee contribution is the liability. The same thing, most of the accountant also confused when to make the TDS entry. Whether in the, if for examples, if we are giving 5 lakh advance for our labor charges work in the month of May, but we received bill in the month of June. Most of they are thinking, when should we deduct the TDS? As per income tax rule, one should deduct the TDS, advance payment or bill, whichever is earlier. In our case, we made the payment in the month of May, so we deduct the TDS in the month of May only and make the payment next month before 7th of the next month. And we go to, in case of GST, when GST is implemented, the most of the accounting concept is totally changed. Previously, when excise VAT, the accounting concept is different. Now it is after GST, accounting concept is totally different. So one should make proper bifurcations of sales, sales material, sales labor charges, output CGST, output SGST, output IGST. One should make proper bifurcations. In case of purchase, one should make proper bifurcation of purchase material and purchase labor charges. Purchase labor charges should be make proper bifurcation because TDS is applicable once prescribed limit is increased. So one should make proper bifurcations of purchase material and purchase labor charges. It is very easy to make the calculations of TDS. If you directly debited purchase 18%, purchase 28%, if you merge with material and labor, it is very difficult to make the calculations of TDS. So one should make proper bifurcations. In case of service industry, if you receive any advances from the customer, we have to pay GST in the month in which we are receive the advances. So make the proper provision for GST payment. And second thing, reverse charge mechanism. Also, most of them directly they done the payment entry instead of making the provisions of RCM. So one should make proper RCM entry, then you make the payment and adjust with your regular liabilities. These are the changes happened due to GST. And one should also make the point, if you are constructing a factory shed, whatever you steel purchase, cement purchase, whatever expenditure related to factory shed, that input credit is not eligible for taking the benefit. One should always add that input credit to factory shed account, not to the input tax credit. If you are make the bifurcation, if you take wrongly credit, in future you are have to pay with interest and penalty. So one should take very careful while making the bifurcations. In case of vehicle, if you purchase any car, if you are paying sometime 28-43% of GST, so it is not eligible for taking the benefit. So you should not make the bifurcation as an input. you directly add to the vehicle accounts, what we advised. So some personal expenses also, most of them you are purchasing the fridge, TVs, all the credit, two wheelers. Some credits are you make the bifurcations, that is not advisable. If you come notices, you have to pay with interest and penalty. So one should very cautious about the basics. And in case of some other points, some miscellaneous points we have to discuss. In case of prepaid expenses, most of the accountants, they are not bifurcating the prepaid expenses. What is the prepaid expenses? Suppose if your vehicle insurance is due on 1st October, if you paid on 1st October, but that period of insurance is 1 year. In that case, whatever expenditures of insurance from October to March is the expenses of current year. But difference, another next 6 month expenses is treated as a prepaid expenses, and that prepaid expenses should be debited to current account, current asset account, not to expenses account. In next year, you can make the bifurcations and you can transfer it to regular expenses account. Like preliminary and pre-operative expenses, if you are forming any formation of any private limited company, whatever expenditures for incorporations, you have to debit to miscellaneous expenses under current asset, not regular expenses. One can write off 1/5 every year. So be careful while doing the accounting. Some small mistakes, because you are accountants, you should be very skilled and a real-time accountant. So one do very careful. Thank you for watching these videos. If you are like, please share and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you very much.